just saw that orb take out that drone with some sort of pulse. So
welcome back to the channel, thanks for joining me. Got lots to go over today, so let's get straight into it. What we're going to do here now, we're going to jump into some of this New Jersey stuff straight off the bat. It's popping in it at the minute. Let's have a little look. From shootings to crash landings, do you know what I mean? All going on in New Jersey. Let's take a look.
I've just been sent the craziest video of this whole drone UFO plasma saga. So shout out to UFOs around the world. He tagged me in this one. This is what appears to be an object in the sky firing some kind of weapon at different rates of speed. There's two videos. I'll show you both of them. I'm not really sure what to make of this. I think this has just come out and it could possibly get debunked. I don't really know, but I just thought this video looks so insane that it's just worth sharing and having a discussion about. So check this out. That's the better quality video. This second video isn't as clear, but what you can see looks way crazier. Check this one out.
Holy cow. That thing is completely stationary shooting.
So those videos look pretty wild, especially considering what's been going on. I thought it was worth sharing, but for full transparency, I did a little bit of digging. This video was taken in New Jersey, exactly where all of these drone sightings have been going on. That's why it's so interesting. But there was conflicting reports whether it was taken in New Egypt or in Bergen County, which is further to the north. And if we look here at New Egypt in New Jersey, you'll see that it's right next to McGuire Air Force Base. And there was a post here on Twitter that basically highlights their calendar for the month in terms of their activity and their noise. So this was allegedly taken today, December 13th, or more than likely December 12th in the United States, which says there should be moderate noise, including 50 caliber weapons, rocket fire, and rotary cannons. Now, to me, I'm not a military guy. I don't know what kind of weapon that could be. But it could certainly be tracer rounds, which are rounds that are essentially designed for you to be able to see where the bullet is going. So, I mean, it definitely did a good job of that. If that's what it is, it makes you wonder why, right? I mean, with all the drone stuff that's happening, this is in New Jersey. We're seeing all these things in the sky. I've never seen videos like this before. I don't know, something to think about.
Something's going up real fast. A plane? I can't tell what it is. Oh, is that moving quick? That could be a drone. I don't know what the hell that is. That is quick. There's only one remaining right now. Whatever that green flashing one is. She moved quick around it. Super quick. Oh, he's like right on it. Ooh, that whatever it was just shut down the drone, if that was a drone.
Since when do drones shapeshift while they're flying? I ain't never seen a drone do this, y'all. That's definitely a UFO. And I'm saying it wasn't man-made. It's just something we've never seen before. That's insane. It definitely is not a bird. Let me know what y'all think what it could be. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is insane. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments and stay weird, y'all.
We just saw that orb take out that drone with some sort of pulse. So is that what's happening with all this? Different states, different cities, different people, and seeing all these flashing lights everywhere. Like, are these orbs messing with our electronics? And I'm about to show you the radio stuff, because the radio is crazy. This is crazy, but the radio is crazy. Because look, at the same time, look at the clock, 11:11. And it's like taking over the frequency. Different car, different person, 11:13 on the clock. Different car, different person, 11:10. So we have these things that are happening all over the country in different states, different people, and everyone's filming it and showing that these things are happening, and the government is telling us, oh yeah, like they're just drones, like nothing's happening, but yet we're seeing orbs get in fights with drones, and our cars and our lights are acting weird, flickering around and changing into this sound. Like, that is not normal. That is not okay. Like,
so the drones are coming from the inside of the ocean.
After seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat and they reported seeing 13 following their boat, and then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
Can I see one right here? Did I see the same thing that officer saw? I'm still not sure. What I can show you is this video. What I can tell you is I've never seen anything like it before. Wow. In more than a month since these reports started, the federal government...
I had to give his back to back then, because there's that much going on. You don't want to keep repeating yourself, but it is madness what's going on. Not just in New Jersey, but, well, particularly New Jersey. What is it about New Jersey anyway? I just don't get what particularly is so exciting about New Jersey, apart from the boardwalk. You know what I mean? But I'm actually lost for it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We have to literally watch it play out, because something... There's lava sharks yesterday, do you know what I mean? I don't know what to expect, so there's nothing I can say, because something else will be popping tomorrow that we won't expect, and it will just blow our mind. So let's just keep watching, see it play out, this computer game, and America's always the main star in it, so let's watch from afar, eh? Unless you're from America. Move on.
Man, we have a lot going on. Put on your seatbelt while we connect some dots. But first, this behind me is a chicken plant on fire in Texas. There have been several over the last 3 days, at least 2 or 3. So that already is crazy. And with everything happening in the Middle East right now between Yemen and the Houthis and Israel and Gaza, we are now sending our troops for deployment to the Middle East. And Houthis are making some really big threats we're about to go over, and they have some serious implications. Now this right here is no joke. The Houthis are threatening to cut the undersea cables if we attack again. They said this yesterday, and we attacked or attempted an attack today. So why is this a big deal? All of modern life depend on these undersea cables to send information, a phone line, and internet. And without them, you completely cut communication, you screw up banks, and you screw up a whole lot of stuff. And when I say a whole lot of stuff, it's much bigger than just your social media. It's every aspect of life. And you're like, well, you know, they can just use the satellites for internet, right? 99% of data is transferred by the undersea cables. That's right, it's not the satellites, it's the literal cables that are under the ocean. So when the Houthis are threatening to cut the cable, they're saying, hey, UK, Europe, whoever else, you're screwed. Get used to a new life. They say, oh, the Houthis have nothing to do with Yemen. Yemeni defense minister, we are bringing a painful end to America. I don't know if people are just ignorant or unaware of geopolitics and what's happening in the world right now, but it's not safe over there for us in the US military. They cannot stand us. I believe the true number now is 130, but we'll go with just 70 attacks. There's been at least 70 attacks on US military in Iraq and Syria and places around Israel since October.
The U.S. has carried out a self-defense strike targeting and destroying multiple projectiles that the Houthis were preparing to launch at commercial ships just in the last hour.
Why don't you Google how many ships they've shot missiles at? And by the way, this behind me, this is Russia's emblem. It's them trampling on a dragon, on a serpent, on Babylon, on the US. The BRICS nation is going to win. Sorry, I mean the BRICS nations.
Things like this are what they're getting talked about, like these chicken plants and stuff. This is what makes you think it's like Project Bluebeam or a distraction for what's really going on. They're destroying the farming industry, they're destroying towns to get lithium, Carolina ways, when I think it was Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina. But they're throwing up the Project Bluebeam, it's like a Hail Mary or a distraction. It's crazy how you could just let Jilly sit around a round table, think of ideas, throw them out there and get them done. No matter what it costs the taxpayers money anyway. And they just throw them out there, no matter how crazy it sounds. My head is baffled with this man, but 2025 is looking bleak. Get yourselves a Doomsday Prepper book. This isn't scaremongering, Doomsday Prepper book, just in case, and stock up a few weeks. That's just in case. Why not?
I was a Secret Service agent for 25 years. Protected presidents from both sides of the aisle. But never in my life have I seen things so polarized as they are now. I don't really know what's going on with all this drone activity and this cloud seeding, which is unfortunately probably a thing too. I don't know where you stand on that. But the skies down here in North Carolina this morning were filled with air traffic. The evidence of air traffic. If you don't know what cloud seeding is, I would highly suggest you look that up. I'm not sure if I believe that or not, but I might. If you don't know what Operation Bluebeam is, I would look that up too. Pretty much if a talking head from the government or the healthcare industry is telling you something, I'd probably believe the opposite or do the opposite, but that's just me.
See, unless the plants, like Louis Elizondo, whatever it's called, he seems like a plant, doesn't he? Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Sci-Fi Guy, they're all little lab coat plants. Then people like this need a bit of credit, like paying attention to, because the credible people, obviously, if they've got the right intentions, and they're coming out and saying all this, and like, who else are you going to believe? If you're not going to believe people like this, then who are you going to believe? You're never going to believe someone like me on the internet. So who are you going to believe? I'm just passing you the information. Do you know what I mean? You've got to open your mind. At this point, if people are still not opening their mind, it's stubborn. It's just literally to be combative and argumentative, and because there's lava sharks, there's sharks in the ocean, aliens in the ocean, all shooting each other down, morphing in mid-air, and they still tend to believe the government. Honestly, there is no hope if people are still being that divided, which is what they want, divide and conquer, innit? Open your eyes.
And then when you're sleeping on your bed or whatever it may be, it should be made out of wood. And then you should use natural materials like wool. You can use cashmere, linen, kapok. Those would be the ones that I would say to use. You can use hemp if you can find it. And then if you have sheets, you want to make sure that your sheets are made out of linen so that they do not gather a static charge while you're sleeping. Right? I always talk about that one. Everybody with restless leg syndrome, that can be easily fixed overnight with linen sheets. Simple. Nice nice and simple. Your bed is a frequency, right? Your sheets are a frequency. If you can see those, they're linen. Linen is such a beautiful healing frequency. There's so much light that comes off of linen. So while we sleep, if we sleep in linen, right? Just showing this. If you sleep with linen, you're sleeping in the light healing frequencies which are being emitted from the beautiful fabric the entire time. The other cool part about linen is that it stays very cool. And I'm getting really hot because it's it's 100 out, but this is organic cotton. With this situation with the linen, it stays very cool when you're sleeping.
Switching gears now. These are good little tips I'd say for pushing forward. Linen, copper. Get rid of non-stick pans and maybe get rid of virgin water filters maybe, or some type of water filter. Years ago it was fluoride in your toothpaste and fluoride in the water and chemtrails. Shoot up your tin foil. That now it's all true. Just honestly, do you care about your gut, your health, your kids, their health? Then why not make the change? It doesn't matter. It's only a bit of money that's going to cost you to switch. Why not? Like, why not take the switch unless you're going to be combative, argumentative, stubborn? Get your ego in check. Think about your kids and your family and stuff like that first, your loved ones, and yourself. That's all I've got to say on that one. Your choice.
I had a near-death experience in 1969 after the birth of a child, and I had pulmonary embolus.
Oh my gosh!
And both my lungs were non-functional.
On the birth table, this all happened?
No, it happened after the birth.
Oh my God!
And so what pulmonary embolus is are blood clots that go into your lungs and break the blood vessels in your lungs.
You can die from that.
You die from that. So I felt both my lungs were full of fluid, and I felt as if I had an elephant sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe.
Oh.
And my family was being prepared for my death in that day. And so I was in intensive care, and I had 2 little kids at home, and I had a brand new baby, and I said, hey, God, give me a job. I'll do anything.
Please, God.
Yes.
Please.
And I wanted to be on the planet for my children. And that was my mantra. And the nurses would come in and say, you have to go to sleep. But if I knew I would close my eyes, I would never open them again.
Were you scared to go to sleep?
I was fighting really hard to stay alive.
I don't blame you.
And so in a moment, the room, the little cubicle in the intensive care became extremely bright, as if the sun had risen in the room itself. And I saw movement at the end of my bed, and when I looked, Jesus was standing at the end of my bed.
Oh my, not a hallucination?
No, it was, people call them apparitions.
Sure.
But he was standing at the end of my bed, and he had a cloak on with big open sleeves. But I was mesmerized by his eyes. He had the most beautiful hazel eyes. And I thought, a funny thought that I had was his hair was about this length.
Yeah.
And I thought all the pictures I had seen were blonde-eyed, or blue-eyed blonde Jesuses and church statues and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I would see the auburn hair ones as well, but his hair was auburn.
Did he have a halo around him?
No, but there was this bright light.
Yeah. Which was bright enough.
Yeah, it was bright enough, but the presence. And his eyes were so kind. And then he took his arms and he went like this under the sleeves. And when he did that, I heard in my inner mind hearing, as we hear our own thoughts, not externally as you're hearing me.
Right.
I heard a male voice, distinct male voice say to me, remember, my child, you are loved. And at that point, I felt as if my crown had opened up, and I liken it to warm honey being poured in, because this warmth started seeping down inside my body. I could feel this enormous warmth. And as it went through the trunk of my body, I felt as if I could take a deep breath. And it could have happened in hours or moments. It's as fresh to me in my mind as when it happened.
After this apparition occurred, when was the connection with the archangels?
I was in the hospital then and started getting better. My doctors were amazed. And I was in the hospital for a month, and about 6 months after I was out of the hospital, I started having all kinds of psychic phenomena happening to me, internally, externally.
I see.
I could hear messages as I heard Jesus' voice in the hospital that day. And I had phenomena happening. I had my bed levitate in the middle of the night one night. And if Spirit or the angels wanted to talk to me, the chair in which I would be sitting would physically be shaking and moving. So I had
feel it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was very visible too. And then I could do automatic writing, where a pen, if I held the pen, it would write messages. And I could do telekinesis, where you could move objects with your mind.
Right.
And so I did that because I was experimenting with all this to make sure, that this was a real thing. Well, you can think 1969, think back. So much was going on in the world then.
Oh my gosh.
But this these topics that you and I discuss weren't even topics that we would talk about openly. Some people would,
very
but
private.
It was so
Very
private because there was so much fear.
Bold claims, I know. Nothing surprises anyone, does it, on this channel? This is the channel where you get all the weird and wackiest. And I don't even surprise myself at this point. Like I'm finding these clips and I'm thinking, how are they not worldwide news? Like, oh well, saying that because they probably don't want it to be worldwide news. I get it. But it's... Someone would have said this, say, a couple of 100 years ago, 200 years ago, which would have been hung, drawn and quartered. This day and age, you've got a a pedestal, like something. You got an opportunity to speak your mind, and there's lots of people that will listen. And why not? Why not? Why can't she be right? Do you know what I mean? It's a matter of opinion at this point. Let's just stick together. Whether we believe it or not, you don't have to argue, you don't have to be combative. If you don't like one thing, you don't have to discredit everything of someone's beliefs. Stick together, especially at a time like this. That's all I ask.
If you're into conspiracy theories, or if it's midnight and you just want to be astonished, I just found a theory on Reddit that's about to blow your fucking mind. I'm sorry if my eyes are red or if they get red throughout the video. I just smoked to calm down because this theory really made me freak out. So this really isn't a theory. This is something that's actually going to take place within the next 10 to 15 years. But in a nutshell, the technological singularity is the point in time in which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable change in humanity and in human civilization. This is basically the point of no return with artificial intelligence and technology, or as I see it, confrontation with AI, or the birth of artificial consciousness. The technological singularity is something that's been hypothesized, yet Fortune 500 companies are preparing and investing in this and even started their own university. Google, Nokia, Cisco, and Boeing all invested and funded the Singularity University, which got over $1 billion in funding. Not to mention the acceptance rate at this university is only like specific individuals and organizations. Yeah, their acceptance rate is fewer than 3%, but their whole mission is about educating these individuals and organizations about navigating technological change. But a big reason why this could be an issue for us is with this technological Big Bang, AI could become a lot more intelligent than it already is. I mean, a lot bigger than we can humanly comprehend, or for even worst case scenario, they could revolt against us. The sad part is that the physical world is becoming largely irrelevant in the present day, which for humanity is a weakness because without technology, we don't even know how to live in our natural habitat. And if AI were to reach this point in intelligence, they would basically have control over everything we have and own, and our own creation will overrun us. However, if we were to find a way to become one with AI before this technological singularity, then the whole idea of a technological warfare is out the window. This means that our biological bodies will no longer be needed and will become sentient software programs who are spread across different data centers for storage. AI would ensure our safety and comfort and prevent us from damaging, the Earth more than we already have. But Earth would basically just become one huge nature reserve where evolution could continue without the disruption of humanity. After the technological singularity, AI would have reached a point to where it is conscious enough to make repairs for itself and teach itself. So the need for humans to manage and upkeep would just be unnecessary, as this would be the birth of an artificial awareness, as well as a consciousness far more beyond and complex than the human mind. This theory was first introduced in the 20th century by John von Neumann, who helped create one of the first programmed computers. The predicted singularity of 2045 could be a lot sooner in the mid-2030s or the end of the 2020s. But what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this theory? Like, it's crazy.
I'm not even going to pretend I know what he's on about. I get what he's saying, but again, way above my pay grade. A couple of PhDs above me that I'm too caveman-like to understand what he's talking about, but I get what he's saying, if you know what I mean. The reason I'm putting it on here is because it sounds fascinating and I kind of get what he's saying, and there were people out there who was a lot smarter than me who could understand it and might take something for it. So it's just me being a vessel and passing it on, basically. So if you get anything out of it, then let me know in the comments if you find it interesting or fascinating or helpful.
I was riding my dirt bike to a lake down the hill in the bush near our property where the path splits to go down to the lake. I turned right and started down the hill. That is when I saw a black thing on the left side of the path. I thought it was a bear, but it was using a stick to dig with, so I revved my dirt bike to scare it. It then stood up on two legs and turned around looking me in the face to face, 30 feet away. It was daytime in August. I thought at first that it was someone in a very convincing Bigfoot suit out in the thick bush until it opened its mouth and took a huge breath. I saw into its mouth and knew it was real. That's when I started to get scared. But it just stood there, looking at me, sniffing the air while it swayed back and forth from one foot to the other. I am 6 feet 7 inches tall, and I was dressed in all black dirt bike protective riding gear. The smell of it was like the worst bad body odor and swamp bog mixed together. It stayed there looking at me for about 2 minutes. While it stood there, I got a real good look at it and how the foot pad would compress a lot when it shifted its weight from one foot to the other. I guess its height would be over 8 feet, maybe 9 feet tall, and well over 850 to 900 pounds. Huge nose and hair covered most of its body. Huge muscular body with very long arms and hands that reached to or past its knees. After about 2 minutes, it turned to the left and took 3 huge strides. The last one looked like it used its arms and hands to help it move so fast with very little sound. I parked my bike and went after it where it went into the bush. I followed the trail for about 50 feet and then got that real bad smell again, but much stronger. The hair on the back of my neck stood up and I got out of there as soon as possible.
You know, I started putting so much Bigfoot into my shows and I love it, but I just feel like people are not going to, how many times is the same story you're going to hear or the same sighting that people are never going to believe. So I'm thinking, space them out, but I just want to put them all in. I've got so many stories like this, so many people in encounters, loads. I just hold them back a bit now. But it's my channel, I'll do what I want. I'm going to start throwing them in again because I feel like I've been slacking on the Bigfoot a lot and I just find it so interesting. So what's the harm of a 30-second clip? Do you know what I mean? You can do this. 30 seconds, close your eyes, 30 seconds. This story actually reminds me of the one where there's a video out there where the guy's on the trail and he's going around in like a quad, I think it is, and he goes around the trail. I think it's in Alaska, maybe, somewhere. He's in the trail and as he comes around the corner, he like double looks and he see it and it slows it down in the replay. It's like slow it down, you see it massive stood there like on a bend as like his dog legs round, and then he stops at the other end. It looked legit, and that's what it reminds me of that. But Let's see what happens anyway. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put some more in.
Oh, don't mind me while I blow your freaking mind for a second. I am about to put you on to one of the most incredible and transformational things you will ever listen to in your life. So this is the Telepathy Tapes by Kai Dickens, and it explores the cases of telepathic abilities within the most incredible group. It is individuals who are autistic and non-verbal. Now I'm going to be doing a 4-video deep dive, but I want to give you guys the spark notes of it. So Kai was first introduced to the phenomenon of telepathy within non-verbal autistic individuals through a podcast that was featuring Dr. Diane Powell, who is a neuropsychologist that came from Johns Hopkins, and I believe she's at Harvard now. They talk of the tens of thousands of cases of mothers who think, my child can read my mind. But a lot of them don't bring it up because they just think they're crazy, or other people will think they're crazy. But they're not, and it's an incredibly common experience. So on the podcast with Dr. Powell, they set up these experiments with insane controls. It's crazy, it's crazy! They'll take someone like the mother, they'll put them in a room, they'll give them this random number generator, or they'll show them pictures. The other room, a child will be blindfolded. After the mother is shown something, the child will be told that they can take off the blindfold and then they can type into an iPad what they saw. These kids, they never miss. They never miss. They see through their mother's eyes. They hear what she's thinking. Oh, and if you think that's where it ends, no, we're just getting started. One of the reoccurring things that comes up when they talk to all of these various children, does not matter where they are in the world, they talk about something they call the Hill. It is a place where they can all send their consciousness and talk to other children with the same abilities, other people with the same abilities. The podcast talks about a kid from Georgia who was best friends with a kid from Utah, and how they would talk every single day by going to the Hill. So many of these children have been able to communicate through letterboards or typing. The podcast teaches you what that is. Here's some of the things that they wish the world would know. Number one, that they know things. They know things that they can teach us, but no one will listen. Another quote that was incredible is they said, in my world, we don't speak, we communicate through our eyes. Another said, audible speakers, us, we only see one side of the story. There's so much to it that we don't know. It's so fascinating to me that every faith-based tradition talks about a time coming where the dumb shall speak. But I guess the question is, are you willing to listen? You need to listen to this. Everybody needs to. It's 9 incredible episodes. It is going to blow your mind. If you're not sold, let me give you a few more examples. They show examples of extraordinary cases of savantism, like a girl who knows dozens of languages without ever being taught. A boy who can instantaneously solve the most complex math equations because he sees them in colors. Many of the children have photographic memories and can recall complex data because they experience it. They can touch books and immediately know the contents. I'm not kidding. So why does this matter? This is Kai Dickens, by the way. Number one, it's going to show you the limitations that you put onto your own consciousness. Number two, it's going to expand your ideas of what consciousness is. And 3, when you're done listening, you are going to see what I've been making content about, that we are living in a simulated reality or a holographic reality. This is not base reality. This is not what is real. It feels real. I get that. But there is a base that is more real and you can tap into it. Like I said, I'm doing a 3-episode deep dive because this whole 3-minute video doesn't even scratch the freaking surface. It is time for you to open your eyes and experience truth. It is time to give a platform to these angels who are here on earth to teach us. We just need to listen.
This is mind-blowing. This is worldwide. This should be global news. This should be in front of every paper, every news channel. Are you going to say you don't believe them? Are they lying? What's the intention? Do you know what I mean? Why would they want to lie? They clearly being truthful. I have it. I'm autistic. My son is, and I think the other son, but he won't. He's a bit too old for that now, a bit too cool to go and checked out. But I believe it. I believe the way brains work differently. There's a spectrum. People are way ahead of the spectrum. People are just, and I believe there's intelligence, telepathy, intelligence. I think the body and the mind can do unbelievable things. If we've got a magnetic field around us and we can telekinesis, which sounds like Matilda stuff, or witchcraft. I think if you channel your energy, and you can do it because there's an energy field, you can channel it, you can do it. Channel it, you can do it. If you could just tap into whatever we've tapped into, which is getting dimmed and dulled and brought down by the things we eat, the frequencies around us, everything. So yeah, I 100% believe this, and I think you should too. Don't be disrespectful. You can have your opinion, but don't be disrespectful in your comments or your answers, or if you see it on another post or this post. But you've got to at least listen and think, why would they lie? Very, very, very interesting either way. Very interesting. Maybe go and have a look, go and read about it. Dig a little. Move on.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are the
Very awkward. Jera. The babies we eat. If you didn't catch it, rewind it. Oh. Let's move on.
Did the moon map of Earth resonate with you? Well, it's about to resonate way more. There's this theory that the moon represents our Earth, and only 1/4 is our known Earth, and it moves around, like the clock in Prague. As you can see, there's a constellation wheel. The sun and moon are both connected in the center of this. And honestly, what if this constellation wheel moves around in centuries of time around the entirety of Earth? I call this the 4/4 theory, like the 4 quarters in ancient cosmology and mythology. The 4 quarters of Earth that Enoch talks about. The 4 quarters in several Bibles, scriptures, and quarters definition is a fourth of something or a place in which you can dwell, which it's weird that this is literally 1/4 of this, and it's the quarters in which we dwell. So is this moon projection that kind of looks like the land from Earth enough evidence for us to believe in something like this? Probably not, because really it doesn't match up perfectly, but I've got some evidence. In order for this theory to even be somewhat plausible, we need 3 things to be happening for sure. Number 1, the magnetic north would have to be moving. And guess what? It is. In the direction that it would need to be moving for this theory to be true. But wait, if the magnetic north and the magnetic field is moving northwest, north compared to what? That is the north. Wait, what if there's another north right here in the center? You know, the Mercator map has 4 quarters, 4 rivers, and an ultimate center. Doesn't that kind of look like it? But either way, we have 2 more major things for this to be even plausible, and that is the ice in Antarctica, West Antarctica to be exact, should be melting, and the ice in East Antarctica should be freezing, and it is. This is all melting, and this is all freezing, and has a higher elevation. Why? Well, because it's constantly freezing more, and the lower elevation is because it's melting more. Now, also, direct sunlight in Africa should be increasing. The Sahara Desert should be growing, south to be exact. Isn't that something? Huh. Yeah, you should maybe do some math too here, because it's weird at the rate that it's moving. Okay, fine, but South America should be increasingly freezing more. And it is. Yeah, that's right, it is. Here's what's cool too. This explains silly climate change and ice ages too. Not to mention finding strange animals and structures in the ice that's melting in Antarctica. Oh, the climate crisis, it's you and my's fault. What if they're just using this crisis to get some money, but then also to say you're the problem? You know, you're the one who's causing these emissions. No, come on. Hey, and also, we are not having an energy crisis either. Think about the old world ships. This place was like an entire city that floated around, charged on these Tesla coils. Look, we can harness the ether energy, and I think they're doing that, throwing a price tag on it. But that's the thing. This theory, it brings all of the conspiracies kind of together. makes it obvious of what they've been hiding. They throw stuff like this out there and this with zero evidence as to how this could even be, when all the while a model like this explains everything. Just think about it. So when they said flat earth was a psyop, maybe it kind of is. Maybe they're only giving us 1/4 of what we really need to be looking into. By the way, I don't use this moon projection as all of my evidence. No, I look at all of the other things that line this thing up for a home run.
Just more evidence to back up the moon map, like the clock in Prague and stuff like that. I talked about it a few episodes. I think it makes sense. I think it actually does make perfect sense. I think that's what it is. I think that's what we're all missing. The way the ice melts and the way he explains it. I don't want to go and just mess it up what all that Wiki's just done. But I think it's got a lot of credibility to it. I think it's got a lot of possibility it could be true. But that's my opinion. Like I said on this channel, it's just opinions. Complicated earth war, just words. So let's all get along. If anyone's got any questions or remarks, pop it in the comments. Don't forget to hit the bell, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.